Hello, everyone, and welcome to Too Hot to Handle Season 6. We're here on the Hot Dummies on Islands podcast, as well as the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel. So if people want video, Jason and I are there. We're here. I'm just realizing I did not run that by Jason before we hit record, but I think we're fine.
It would have made no difference. My appearance never changes, so it's fine. I never prep and preem. I'm all good.
Look at you. I should have, but I didn't. It's fine. But of course, I'm Kirsten, and joining me to talk about Batch 1 of Too Hot to Handle Season 6, Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
Kirsten, I'm good. I've been doing research as of late of how the wind works, so I'm really opening my new horizons of information that I have. Because when he said, I was like, you know what, that makes a good point. How does wind work? But I'm good. Too Hot to Handle isn't normally my thing, right? Like when we did Perfect Match, I said I don't watch Too Hot to Handle, so I don't know all about these dummies. But I've been introduced to new dummies that hopefully will help me with my preparation for next season's Perfect Match, since that does have a season 3. So you asked me if I could come on, do this one batch Too Hot to Handle, and I said I don't know if it's Too Hot to Handle or not. I'll try it, and I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised.
And I just want to say up front, like, I feel like it's less hot this season than it normally is. So they've changed the dynamics and the game mechanics a bit. So it's a little bit interesting, but thank you so much for joining. And now it's going to be great because next season of Perfect Match, you're going to know all of the Too Hot to Handle people, and I'm still not going to remember them because after this is over, I'm flushing my brain like a toilet and it will be gone.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're so especially in the beginning when they're doing the intros, they're so nondescript. They come across as like scripted characters. So that I haven't gotten a lot of nuance from them. So maybe by the time we do hit Perfect Match, I'll be like, oh yeah, I did watch a show with them on it and I totally forgot about it.
It's to the point where on Perfect Match season 2, Christine was there and I didn't remember who Louis was. So that's on me. But yeah, so this season is the first season that the contestants actually know that they are on Too Hot to Handle officially. So I don't know if you know this, Jason, but the previous seasons, they would have like fake shows with a fake host and everyone thinks they're just coming on a show, I guess, to have an orgy ? And then right when the party starts, the Lana will come up out of steam and mist and be like, surprise everybody, this is actually Too Hot to Handle. And they're like, oh no, not Too Hot to Handle.
I mean, listen, it makes sense because it makes sense for these people not to thoroughly read contracts or thoroughly look at like what they're signing up for before they go on to just say a mysterious island to film some mysterious show. So that totally tracks that they would have no idea what they were actually signing up for.
Yeah. Rob is convinced they know. He's like, how would they know what Lana is when she comes up out of the mist, but not know they're on Too Hot to Handle? Which fair, but I think he's overestimating the general attention that these people are paying. But so this is the first time they know, and they could apply themselves or they could be nominated by other people. So that's the first change.
So how does a lot of people did say I've been nominated for this. How does the nomination process work? Do you just put someone up and the Too Hot to Handle producers seek them out? How does that work?
I think you just send a picture of a hot person and say, hey, this person has too much sex and doesn't form genuine relationships. And then if they're hot enough, production will reach out to them, I think.
Okay. Yeah, because when they said nominate, I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to do it. My person is someone that doesn't take things seriously, has sex all the time. Please help them fix themselves, I guess, which is another just kind of I mean, does someone that just likes sex a lot need fixing? I mean, in some situations, yes, but it's a little bit of a it was a weird dynamic, right? The show kind of celebrates sex, then also shames people for having sex. It's a very, very weird line to toe.
It's extremely weird. This is the main problem we talk about every season because they're taking a bunch of young early 20s people that are just having casual sex and having fun because they're not at a point in their lives when they're looking for something serious. And they're like, well, something is wrong with you and you are incapable of creating a deeper connection. So now we will shame you for that. And they do it it's very weird. The show doesn't make a ton of sense if we examine it like that, but that's okay. With the first 2 batches of Too Hot to Handle are normally a lot of just people hooking up while rule break flashes over the screen,
Mhm.
and then people getting mad at like obscene amounts of money being lost from the prize pot. So it is a little different this season because Lana, the air freshener that is in charge of this retreat, has an evil twin called Bad Lana.
Now, could they have come up with a better name than Bad Lana for the inverse of Lana? Like, I feel like calling Bad Lana, I think they could have called her like a now, since
since Lana is literally anal backwards.
Right, exactly. So. And so you give that to them and let the contestants be like anal, because you can't just call her anal. You have to call her anal, and then let the contestants figure out that it's the inverse and call it anal. I mean, it's right there, so it's in the face. Why couldn't they have done that?
Yeah, this is for producers for free. You could just take this.
Give you ideas.
But no, Bad Lana has an American accent instead of a British accent and is like a robot trying to be sexy. It's extremely weird, but we'll get into all of Bad Lana's shenanigans. Like, we should talk about, first of all, the cast of this show.
Yeah.
So the first two to come in are Gianna, who is a college student from Arkansas and who once had a roster of like 30 people at once in college.
Yeah, she just and I love how kind of proud people are about these things. Like, I've had 30 people on my roster at one time. It really kind of gives of, I don't know if you ever watched like when you were homesick from school, like Maury, right, where they have these kids on there that are being sent to like child boot camp, where they're like, I steal from my mom and I do crack all the time. Like, you're just so proud of their bad behavior.
I'm 13, and if I want to have a baby, I'm gonna have a baby. Whatever, I do what I want.
Yeah, I'm 12 and I hit my mom once. Like, why are you so happy with this nonsense you're perpetrating? It really kind of smacks of that. They're like, and the producer's just like, more, like, be more preposterous and out off the wall.
I love it because it's very much she should be putting on her resume excellent time management, like there's a positive to this, that she
multitasker.
Work collaborates well with others.
I think I would also enjoy like some stats, right? Like, how many threesomes have you had? How many orgies have you been a part of? Like give me the real lowdown. I need numbers to associate with these people.
Give me the full baseball card. Yes. Yeah. We also have Lucy, who's from London, and when Gianna asks her what she does, she goes, "Oh, I just travel," because she's on her year of yes.
It's the year of yes to every dirty old man that drops into her DMs that says, "You want to get flew out tonight?" She says yes to every single one of them. Like, that's basically what she does. She's like, I guess she's an influencer that, like I said, gets flew out to go all over the world and be, get paid for to do things.
Yeah, the PR word for this would be she's a yacht girl, and good for her.
Hey, I ain't hating. If I was Lucy, I'd do the same damn thing. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing too. When you have to remember when you're talking about these people, like, they're not real. These are just like some of the most absurdly hot people in the world. They do not have the same 24 hours in a day that the rest of us have.
Exactly.
Like,
they're living different lives. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a different universe.
It's like we say someone's in a different tax bracket. These people are a different sex bracket than us. Like, they're different. They're built different, as the kids say.
100%. We also have Damari, who's from Indiana. He is a 6'5" stockbroker. And he says every girl wants to share. His brother nominated him for this show.
Oh my God. I was, because Gianna is from Arkansas, Damari is from Indiana. I was like, these aren't normal like states where we pull these people from. I was very shocked at like the different like locales all these people come from.
And I love that when it's someone from a different country, like if they're in the UK, they will give the city, right?
Yeah.
But if it's in the States, it's the state. We have no idea if they're in like the capital of that state or a tiny little town. No way to know.
Right.
They just assume, oh, you understand what Indiana is. I gotta admit, I don't. Is Indiana in the south technically, or is it too north? It's north.
Kirsten, why are you asking me geography questions? I live in the US and I have no idea where Indiana is. I don't know. I could not point Arkansas out to you on a map. Gianna's like, I had 30 people on my roster at once. I was like, I didn't know there were 30 people in Arkansas for you to have on a roster. So listen, don't ask me geography questions about the country I live in. Okay?
I was wrong. I was wrong about it being in the south. It's just rural, but it's not south.
It's in what we call like a flyover state, right? Like no one really, like, no one goes there for like tourism. People just live there, okay?
Until I go on my Too Hot to Handle tour of everything. Oh, that's where Arkansas is?
You have to see where Damari hangs out. It's just a must do on the Too Hot to Handle tour.
Arkansas is right next to Oklahoma.
Okay, that's near Texas. I know that much.
East. Yeah, it's like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas right there.
Yeah. I did not expect
Googling where is Arkansas on the map.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be shaded for my lack of geography of my own country this podcast. So I will take the slings and arrows when they come.
It is not the worst geography we've had on this feed. I'm pretty sure once Jacob Jones thought Alaska was Australia. So you're fine. Okay, then we get Kylie from Toronto, Canada, who was nominated by her own mother. See, when Damari's nominated by his older brother, I'm like, oh yeah, his brother is like being a real one, helping you out. Like, yeah, you're gonna get hookups. This is great. I want to know the mother-daughter dynamic so bad.
Oh my gosh. And do the people like not understand what Too Hot to Handle? Have they like, has her mom not seen the actual show, just knowing that she thinks this is Bad Boy Rehab, but I haven't even seen the show. I know it's definitely not that. I know there's going to be a lot of nonsense and hookups. Like, what did she think she was setting her daughter to?
I want to know so bad. Because again, this is season 6, and I'm pretty sure this casting call came out while season 5 was airing. So it's not even like there was anything not available to that. Like, the information was out there. But Kylie says, these are my good boob years. So sorry, Mom. Don't watch this.
Yeah. She also says she's the ultimate fuck girl. I was like, okay, great title for yourself. Great
she's moniker. No man's peace, and I do respect that. Okay, then we get Charlie, who's from Kent in the UK. He is currently studying economics, and he plays the saxophone, and he prepared for Too Hot to Handle by ceasing self-gratification in advance because he does not want to be, quote, the loser who loses $1,000 for a wank in the toilet, which has happened at least 2 times on Too Hot to Handle, just so you're aware.
So there's cameras everywhere. Like
they know.
Wow.
There was a situation in, I think, season 3, but maybe season 4, and also possibly both, where someone was like so on the brink of breaking all the rules. He was like, I just need to jack off one time to like get the edge off and I'll be okay. And all the bros like guarded the bathroom door while he did it so that no one would interrupt.
But how much was it though to do that? What is the fine for that?
I think it's $1,000. But the other thing is, they don't tell us up front how much things cost. Like, the closest we've got is in this batch. We saw like the happy hour menu where everything was half price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we find out in this batch that like a kiss is $6,000.
Yeah. A kiss was $3,000 when the prize pot was $100,000, and then they doubled the prize pot and just doubled all of the penalties for everything.
Because I mean, if it's $1,000 to just get one off, I think that might be worth it. If I'm also like tempted to do other things that cost more, don't you want me to do something that costs less and stop me from doing that? Let's be smart with our money. Work smarter, not harder.
This is the other thing too that is important for you to know. Get on par with the work smarter, not harder. I'm pretty sure if you are doing like, if they go all the way, I think all of the kisses do not count as individual charges while they're going all the way. So like,
that's important.
You actually should just go as far as possible so that you don't get all these little penalties adding up. It's like a smarter way to spend the money.
So we had a instance in this batch where they cost them like $18,000. Pretty much you might as well just go all the way at that point.
Yeah. 3 kisses.
Mm-hmm.
There was also at one point, I think a couple tried to just like continue kissing without coming up for breath for like as long as possible, just to like not get charged. And then I think they got charged extra for trying to work around the system as well. Like, listen, Lana is always watching.
She's always watching. And listen, a kiss, and I saw them kissing on places not the lips, and they weren't getting fined for it. Is that a thing? Like, a kiss only counts if it's on the lips.
I think it's like if it's sexual that kind of implies. I don't know. But then you get into the stuff with Louis and Catherine in the Hideaway, and it's like, well, she's in the range. I don't know.
We seem they were very close to having things happen and not being fined for it. So it's very nebulous, apparently. Yeah.
It is 100% just at the producer's discretion what is charged and what's not. We also meet Jordan, who is from California. He is a surfer boy. He didn't realize that there was a no self-gratification rule and was pretty devastated to find. I guess he had a plan. He was going to go in. He was just going to jerk it whenever he needed to, and he'd be fine.
Listen, that's a good plan for not knowing what the thing was. I feel like I would be busted for trying to break that rule and thinking that no one's gonna find out, and then just get every morning when we come into the command, they would bust me for it. Like, oh shit, y'all saw that? Damn.
You're like, no, that was actually a nocturnal emission. It's super normal in adult.
I was just being restless. I have restless leg syndrome. That was what all that moving around in the sheets was. I refuse to be fined for that.
It's actually a medical problem, Lana. Yeah. Okay, so then we meet Bree, who immediately she gets in there, she pulls Damari to go to the other table to drink champagne with her. Like, she is locked in, she saw her type, and she is ready.
Listen, I can appreciate an up forward person, like being like, I see what I want and I got it. So, I really appreciate Bree for that. And Bree is going to be one of my favorite characters in this whole batch of episodes. So I really like that she came in and just like, just took charge.
Yes. And I would like to say my biggest takeaway from this first batch is #free Bree.
Yeah.
They gotta stop putting her in jail.
Why are you keep imprisoning these innocent Black people?
Art imitates life, Jason. Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Defund, too hot to handle.
Okay, so then we get Chris. He's a model from, I think, London. He calls himself a ladies' man. He was dared by a friend to apply because there's no way he could do this, and he loves Nyash so much.
Chris, the first thing I thought I saw Chris was like, okay, this feels like the lights on, but nobody's home. And Chris, I was like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but he seems this kind of he has a chiseled body, and that's his like main thing.
Well, think about how much time he probably spends at the gym and taking supplements and everything to be so hot so that he can look good in photos. I feel there's probably not a lot of time for personal growth outside of that.
Yeah, but maybe when you're on like the treadmill or doing weights, you can like read a book while you're doing it. Maybe listen to some
listen to an audiobook. That would be nice.
Yeah,
that would be smart.
It would help. It would help with the whole overall package. To have some smarts up there while you're also pumping iron.
Yeah, these people are just so hot that they don't even need a personality at all. Is the problem?
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, I'm fine. Then we have Joao, who is from Brazil, and I think I'm like, is he 18? Apparently he's 22, but he looks like a literal child to me.
There's a middle school out there missing a student. Like, how did this child run away from home and end up signing up for 2 Hot to Handle? I don't understand at all.
Allegedly, he's a rock star, and he spends a lot of time on tour.
They really let these people get into the prop closets, right? Because like Charlie has a saxophone, Joao has his guitar that he likes to lick, gross, and another person has a surfboard. So like we really got into like the whole prop of it all in these intro packages.
Yeah, but he does appear to be a real musician.
I mean,
but I didn't even listen to any of his music though to prepare for this podcast.
Anybody can be a real musician though. Like anyone can put their stuff on Spotify.
Wait, but apparently he's on tour.
Okay, I mean, I guess
I don't know.
Listen, I haven't dug into these people's profiles and backgrounds. So, well, who am I to question Joao? So if Joao says he's a professional singer, good for you, Joao.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to listen to see what I think of his music later.
Yeah, and I haven't done so, and to be honest, I might never.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
sorry in
I'm saying this
advance.
now. I probably will forget right after I sign off this podcast.
That's fine. We also get Catherine. She's from California. She has energy for days. And literally she walks in and she's just like, woo, too hot to handle. Let's have a drink.
Yeah, like I was like, she's down to earth. She's sultry. She comes in with like the, Janice from Friends laugh. She's like, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Like this is gonna be interesting. So yeah, Catherine was cool. Yeah, I liked Catherine when I first saw her.
I did. Here's my question. When she first walks in, she's talking to Charlie and she's talking about her type. And she says her type is tall, tan, and colored eyes. And I just want to know what does she mean by that? Because I feel like everyone has colored eyes. I don't understand. Like, does she mean light colored eyes,
I
dark
think
colored
maybe
eyes,
like a unique color of eyes, like a blue, like a
like a
hazel. I don't know, like
hazel?
a not your average brown. I guess I don't know because yeah, like you said,
Mm,
everyone does have a color of eyes, so maybe a unique color
right.
is what she meant.
I can't stand if it's brown eye slander. I can't stand for that. People are so weird about eye colors, and it's so bizarre to me.
Yeah,
But
who was it?
okay.
We when we were doing a perfect match, I think Harry was like
Mm.
he
Harry was like,
needed
my
blue
child
eyes.
has to have blue
Yeah,
eyes.
oof, that was a tough. That was really tough.
That was eugenics, so
Yeah, yeah,
no
definitely.
good. But okay, so that's our whole cast, and this is where they get introduced to Bad Lana. And when Bad Lana is in charge, there are no fines for sexual touching. They can do whatever they want. They won't lose any money. All is good. And it's also like the first day there's always no rules because they always think they're on a different show. So this is just like a different mechanism for the same
Oh,
thing that they
yeah.
always do.
So they do have like usually like a whole day where they think they're on the wrong show. I thought
Mhm.
almost as soon as they pop up, they get told they're on too hot to handle. But they do have some
It
walk around time where they can do whatever they want.
it's I think last season they had a show where it was like they thought it was gonna be challenges and it was gonna be like like a risque thing, but then you do like adrenaline pumping stuff. And they literally had Mario Lopez to be the fake host of the fake show. And they like all walked out, like set up to go jump out of an airplane up to a jet. And then Mario Lopez was like, no. And then Lana popped out.
I think I would have enjoyed that more than what we got. I think because it's like
Yeah.
there was no big performance. They're just like, oh yeah, we're too hot to handle, and then they get told they can do whatever they. Now here's the thing: we got so many intro packages of people like, I'm disgusting. I'm so gratuitous in my sex, and then like when they're told they have no consequences, nothing much happens.
Yeah.
There's
Like a
kissing.
couple kisses.
Yeah, it's like, okay, y'all guys got told you are on like basically you're on Sex Island. You're on one of those shows
Yep.
they thought that you thought you were going to be on in the old seasons. And
Mhm.
they're so timid around each other, just walk around like, ooh, how about we kiss? It's like I thought y'all were like all down for having I thought it was going to be an orgy that was going to break out in the first hour, but no, I think all these people are just mostly all talk.
I agree, which also backs up my claim that most people are lying about how much sex they
Mhm.
have when they go on these shows. Because again,
Yeah.
there's just like not that many hours in a day. I
Right.
don't understand. Do they not have other things to do? Um, but so we get where everyone's like kind of split up. Like the boys talking about who they're interested, the girls talking there who are they're interested. Only want to cue that up because so many people are talking about how they're interested in Gianna because they love college girls so much, which was like, ugh, disgusting.
Yeah. They love the young talent. Ugh, gross.
Disgusting.
Gross.
Um, so Bree is interested in Chris and Damari. She tells Chris to take his pants off, and he's just like, "Oh, well, you look good in green, but you'd look better with it off." And they almost
Yeah.
kiss, but they don't kiss. I don't know. There's a connection with Chris, but it's like purely sexual.
So much talk. Like Bree's like, take those pants off. He's just like, your eyes look pretty. He's like, no, I thought you were all about it, dude. Take the pants off. Let's get it on
Yeah.
right here. Like, let's go. But
Like,
he's just
let's
like,
go.
yeah, he hem and haws. He's like, yeah, no, I don't want to. And then they finally get around to kissing after they do some
Yeah.
weird walking around bantering.
Yeah, it's just very strange. Um, and then she also goes to Damari on the beach, and they kiss on the beach and have a nice.
And I gotta say, these kisses on these shows, I just, between this and Perfect Match, I'm just like, I don't need this much close up of people tongue kissing and pretty much almost missing each other's mouths and just looking around their mouth. I'm like, ugh, gross, really gross.
It's not like it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm a prude. It doesn't look that good to me, but
yeah, I feel like I'd almost never see like a real kiss on these shows. I just feel like I see kisses about what people think that kisses should be.
100%. Like it's a performance more than anything. Yeah. Meanwhile, Charlie kisses Catherine, but he's really interested in Lucy. So he also kisses Lucy. And then did they even show when he kissed Kylisha?
Yes, because like they were just in a room basically alone, and Kylisha intimated that she would be down to kiss him. He was like, "Oh, for real?" And then he just does it, and it's like, okay, like that was random and weird.
Yeah, it was such a throwaway moment.
Yeah, so I mean, Charlie is very much in demand, and I don't really get it, I guess.
I also don't get it, to be completely honest. I think if he had a better haircut, I would understand it more, but I don't know.
I mean, maybe the thing is like the guys like all the young girls, and the girls like all the guys that look older, because he looks like a 40-year-old dad, in my opinion. It's like,
yeah,
you know, it was weird. It was very odd.
He looks British, derogatory, you know?
Yeah.
and that's British, fine.
but bad.
It's some people's type, and that's okay. Yeah. I have been very vocal that everyone should have run away from these Brits, but they will never receive my message. They're not ready. So they have a bondage party because Badlon is throwing it, and they're playing with the sex dice. And my main question for that is, why is everyone rolling sucks on the one die? We didn't see one thing that was a lick.
Have they inspected these dice? Is most of the spaces sucks on this thing, because they really loved rolling that.
Was it a weighted die? Like,
yeah, maybe.
What are we doing here? I don't understand. But yeah, we get like a lot of sucking, honestly. And while Charlie is sucking on Lucy's thigh, which he had to do, he had to get both thighs, obviously, for symmetry. Good Lana resumes control because it's too much. They've gone too far.
Yeah, it was really a Sophie's choice for Charlie of like, I've hooked up with 3 of these ladies. I've kissed 3 of them. So whose thigh am I going to suck? I'm surprised it wasn't like a cliffhanger of the first episode. Like, whose thigh will Charlie suck? It's like, it was weird.
In another batch, it could have very well been. But good Lana's in control. I did not like how Jordan called Lana bitch cone. I just like, I know it's a robot, but I just don't like that he would talk about a woman that way.
How dare you insult the AI?
But yeah, so in order to help everyone be at their best, Lana needed to see them at their worst, and she has seen enough. So now Villa rules are in effect. I feel like Kylisha looked shocked, which I'm like, I don't understand why you're surprised. And they have the biggest prize ever, $250,000.
I mean, listen, I feel like, and I was like, that's it? Like, that's the biggest prize, 250 grand? Like, for everyone to split? For like an old school, like, challenge season where they used to, like, have, like, $100,000 as a team prize. It's like...
They don't necessarily all win it. There's been different things over the course of the seasons of Too Hot to Handle. The first season, everyone who's left at the end ended up splitting it. That was when Chloe was there. Then the second season, they switched it up and did a jury vote where everyone voted for who they thought deserved to win. And I don't think a couple has ever won. I think it's always one person. And then the last season, someone won, and she literally was like, I want to share it with this other person who deserves it. And so then they split it. So it's all kinds of changes.
Okay, because I just assumed that everyone that was still there split it. So that's who wins? It the person that, you know, is the most chased, I guess?
It's so honestly, the key to winning Too Hot to Handle is actually to break the rules early and get into a relationship and then be reformed, because then you're really proving growth.
Kind of like what Perfect Match is supposed to be.
A little bit, yeah. It's a little bit like that. but it's all like, because there's always like a couple of people who don't really have a romantic connection with everyone, and they become like the prize pot police, and they're like patrolling to make sure nobody hooks up, and then those people never win because they're not actually committed to the experience. They're just protecting the prize pot kind of vibe. So it'll probably be a jury at the end, I assume, once again, because that's what they've enjoyed doing the past couple of seasons. But yeah, no guarantee that everyone will even get any money at all, which is why it's like, why do you care about protecting the prize pot? You're probably not going to win. Just hook up and spend the money anyways.
Yeah, especially for those people that are not doing much of anything, which is by the end of this first batch, we have quite a few people that aren't in on anything, really. They're just kind of there.
Like, honestly, Jordan just like takes his ball and goes home. But it was probably the right thing to do because he wasn't going to ever win any money anyways.
Yeah.
But so Lana announces the prize and says that she's detected the 2 people who are the biggest threats and they will immediately be banished. And she sends away Charlie and Brie. And I thought they were kicked off the show.
So did I. I thought for sure that they were going to be gone. I was like, well, what's the point of the show if we're going to kick off all the bad offenders? Like, are they supposed to be here for that kind of nonsense and weirdness?
That's what I wrote. Shouldn't these be the people who need your help the most?
Yeah.
Are you
Lana.
them?
Well, why are we shaming these people and sending them away? They should be have the most intensive regimen of trying to fix their bad people ways.
Exactly.
So yeah, I was definitely shocked and actually very thoroughly surprised and happy with the actual result that came out of this.
Yes, so they go to the banishment quarters, which are like a weird prison annex where they have a TV and they could maybe watch what's happening. Lana has a hostage now. That's the setup for this season.
Yeah, so I mean, they have this a windowless room. There's this random TV there. So I was actually kind of like interested to see what this would curtail. I was wondering, and we don't really get this answer throughout the whole first batch. Like, since you're in banishment, do the rules apply? Like, could we go to this banishment quarter and do whatever the hell we want and not get any consequences for it?
Well, that's what I was wondering as well. But it turns out that I don't think that's the case. I think Lana's still in charge. And I think if they had started hooking up, they would have just been sent home at that point because Lana does not play. But they have been banished. They're in jail for 24 hours. And this is so everyone at the villa is like, well, who kissed who? And so Catherine, Lucy, and Kailisha all admit to kissing Charlie. Chris and Damari both raise their hand about kissing Brie. Damari's like mad that Brie kissed Chris, which is wild because it's been one day.
Yeah, and for all these people that are so promiscuous that just fool around with anyone they want to, they're all very attached to these people they just met and just kissed once. They act like they have been cheated on by a long-term girlfriend or boyfriend. Right? It was such an interesting thing to observe. Very territorial people over people they just met.
100%. Very, very odd in that way. We also get. So Charlie's in banishment. It feels like he spends the whole time just talking about how much he misses Lucy and how much he likes Lucy and Lucy is his type. And I'm like, well, why did you kiss 2 other women then?
I mean, he let Bad Lana get into his head, right? He's like, I feel like I need to sow my wild oats and figure out what I want after that. And then, to figure out in banishment that Lucy is the one he wants. He did kind of get it like he had the most like bonding time with Lucy, so that makes sense. He actually sat down and talked to her before he kissed her, and the other ones he just kind of ran up and kissed them basically. So I kind of get that that Lucy is Charlie's main squeeze, I guess.
Yeah, he was very clear that he's interested in someone from the UK because he doesn't want like a cross the world long distance relationship, which is at least realistic compared to how some of these other shows go.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about our last show, we talked about Perfect Match, how these people were setting up cross-world relationships, and then just by the time they got out of that show, it just crashed and burned because they weren't in the same space. So it makes sense. Charlie's at least thinking partly with the right head here.
Yes, exactly. So then everyone has their like first night sleep. I feel like nothing really happens the first night. Like some people share beds, but no one really has like a deep connection. Nothing really matters.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of a thing where like, are you going to share my bed? Is that like the official like, will you match with me tonight? Is that the official wording of like, will you share my bed? Being officially, that's the official coupling up.
Yeah, like, and they're not in a couple per se. Like, they could switch beds the next night. They're not locked in by any means, but yeah, it's a big deal who sleeps in the bed with you. And as happened with Flavia, who's our returning woman coming in, her like whole big drama was like the guy she initially matched up with was already like in with someone else and kind of like set up to go to bed with two women, and then he like kissed his woman goodnight and then climbed into bed with Flavia, I'm pretty sure. So it's like she's familiar with that drama.
Yeah, I mean, and also I mean, because I assume there's not enough beds to have. They have to pair up.
You have to
I'm
share.
assuming.
But like I don't think they're mandated where it has to be like a man and woman sharing though. Like I think like if two of the
Yeah,
girlies wanted to cuddle, they like that wouldn't be against the rules.
yeah. I think Kylisha and Gianna shared a bed. I remember
Mhm.
seeing. So I mean, it's. I mean, Lana. I don't mean to question you, Lana, but it's kind of weird that you want to fix these sex crazed people and then also just force them to sleep in bed together where things could happen. So I mean, I'm just saying, Lana. Like, I don't want to question you too hard, but it seems like this is not a great system.
If they can't face the ultimate temptation and say no, then there's no point,
But on the first
obviously.
day, I would feel like,
Yep.
get them some of these helpful seminars and then put them in beds together after they can hopefully control their urges. But on the first day, Lana, you're just asking for trouble. I'm not trying to say that Lana's not really looking out for these best people's best interests, but I mean, I don't know.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. So yeah, so Flavia comes back. She's from Peru, and yeah, she got totally played by this man named Creed. He was like lying to all these women and like said that he would be honest, and then Lana like called him out in front of the whole group, including all of the women, about his behavior, and he still was like deny, 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 like full on. It wasn't me. Was his strategy in that moment, and then he just like got sent home because he couldn't be honest with the women.
I don't want to like I don't want to fault Flavia for this, but you should probably never trust anyone named Creed. It's just from the character from The Office and the band. I don't think you. I don't think. I think that's a red alert when you meet someone named Creed. Like, stay far
Yeah.
away.
He was quite literally a walking red flag. It was shocking to see so many people be interested in him. Like enough so that I remember it happening, which I generally don't remember things on these shows after the podcast is over. Then we also get Louis from the UK is returning. He left the villa with Christine, which I did not remember happening, but he was the man in the room with her when she did the infamous banana trick. So you can understand why I
Oh.
remembered her, not
Now
him.
I saw the banana trick when they flashed back to it. And I didn't even realize that was Christine because she looks so different than
But
what
when with
I
the
remember seeing her from.
ponytail, yeah, with
Yeah,
the long hair back in the ponytail, she really looks very different. That's that whole hair theory
yeah,
thing that they're
because
always talking about on TikTok.
yeah, because I saw them talk about Christine and flash Christine's picture up. I was like, oh yeah, I did the Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like pointing at the screen. I was like,
Yeah,
I know that
I
person. I
know
know who
her.
that is. So I was surprised that that was also the banana trick person. I think I did recall us talking about the banana trick on
Yeah.
Perfect Match when
They
it came
showed
up.
it on Perfect Match in her
Yeah.
intro.
So I was like, oh, that's Christine. I didn't even recognize who that was. But yeah, that was Louis seems like he seems like he's perfect for this show. I'll
Yes,
say
he
that.
is 100%. And they left together. Long distance didn't work for them. That's fine. But Lana brought them
Christine,
back.
that's Christine's whole thing. She's used to it at this point. She's used to things not working out. Because I mean, listen, for those that did watch Perfect Match, Christine won that damn show with another
That was
person.
wild with another too
Uh,
hard to handle person with the
yeah,
Nigel,
yes.
who I
So I
guess was
mean,
season 4, not season 5. I think I
uh,
don't know.
so yeah, we shouldn't be too surprised about things not working out with Christine. I guess.
I just she's so perfect. I wish that she would stop letting men play her like
I
this.
mean, listen, don't date on Netflix reality. Okay, almost it very rarely works
Yeah.
out.
You're right. You're right. But yeah, so they're here to be good examples to everybody else. Catherine's so excited because there's a London boy, and she has brought up that she wants someone from London like 1,000 times.
Mhm.
It should be studied, honestly.
Yes, just the conceit that Louis and Flavia are here to set good examples. We're gonna do everything by the book. It felt so scripted and so false. I
Yeah,
was like,
it
that
was
is kind
weird.
of very ridiculous. That was the part that kind of turned me off a little bit. Where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna be here and set a good example. Like, okay, yeah, whatever, sure.
Yeah, it was extremely weird. So like Damari kind of goes for Flavia a little bit, and this is where Badlon is like, "Oh, hey Brie, do you want to see footage of what Damari is doing? It only costs $5,000." And she's like, "Yes, it's worth it."
Is it?
And
Is it
no,
though?
it's not worth it. It was worth nothing. They should have paid you to make you watch it, Brie.
Yeah.
But we find out that Damari is not only a stockbroker, but he is a rapper as well, and he raps for Flavia.
Oh my guy was spitting bars. This is get him a collab with Joao right now. They could be touring across the world. And, it never works out when these people claim to be, they're SoundCloud rappers, or it's very similar to like when a NFL person claims they're a rapper. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not good, not great at
It
all.
wasn't the worst I've ever heard from someone
No,
like breaking out a random rap on one of these shows. I'll give him that.
yeah, but it wasn't great either.
It like anytime anyone raps on these shows, it very much gives the whole like, my name is blank and I'm here to say, like, it's always that kind of vibe.
Yeah, put the pen down, bro. You're not a rapper.
Yeah, and I apologize to the world for what I just did. It wasn't okay. um But yeah, so then Damari also is like putting sunscreen on Flavia. She like oils him up, which like no, everyone needs sunscreen. Everyone should wear
Yeah,
sunscreen. Like it's still dangerous to
skin
oil
cancer is
yourself
real,
up.
y'all. Skin cancer is a real thing.
It's skin cancer happens unfortunately to everyone, not just people with my
Yeah.
complexion. So
Yes.
sun safety, everybody. And then he's like, "Oh well, like I didn't put sunscreen on your other side," and then they cut off the scene so it makes it look like Damari's gonna touch her ass, which is a very standard too hot to handle thing. Someone feeling up a woman's ass to put sunscreen on it. But she says no, that they are not there yet.
Well, listen, it's not like he wouldn't have if she said yes. He definitely was going to do it. So it was right to show
Yeah.
Brie that whole interaction.
True, he was willing. The spirit was willing, and the body
Mm-hmm.
was willing.
True.
Then Bad Lana shows Charlie Louis talking to Lucy, where she says it's important to be a lady in the streets, and Louis like, "Oh, and a freak in the sheets," and they shake hands as if that's like something they just came up with.
Yeah, like TM Louis. Like no one used that phrase ever again. But I mean, this was definitely not worth the 5K. I don't know
No,
why they would like. It was so innocent, and I imagine the production of this is like these moments already happened, but they have to cut a little like piece of footage to show these people if they say they want the 5K, and this was the best you got. Like, not great show.
not great. They then also pay $5,000 to find out who is going on dates because each of the newbies gets to pick someone, and they pay $5,000 for that. Where Louis takes out Catherine, Flavia takes out Jordan, and Bree says, "Oh yeah, it was worth it." No,
Mm-mm.
it was not worth it.
Of any of the offenses that this show that happened on to take away money, I think I would have been the most upset at the 15K that got taken away for this, for
When they
all
didn't
the
even do
nonsense they did.
anything.
But I also kind of don't blame Charlie and Bree, because there's nothing else to do. You might as well watch the little TV of what you can
I
get.
I genuinely think, like, if I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of someone who would be cast on Too Hot to Handle, which is very difficult. I think if
Mhm.
I had been put in jail for 24 hours because I was like the most risk to the prize pot, I would be the person to spend the whole prize pot and then get sent home because screw everybody else.
It's like, yeah, I am the most person with
Yeah.
the biggest
And
threat
now
to take
you've
away this
locked me
money,
in
and
a
I'm gonna do it.
bedroom.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it.
Exactly.
So I
But
knew what
yeah,
she was
no,
doing.
they spent $15,000. So Flavia and Jordan have possibly the most awkward date I've ever seen in my life. He does not ask her one single question. He When it finally is like, "Oh, I'm gonna like say something," he asks how the wind works and talks how much he loves the wind, as you mentioned up top. We find out he still lives with his parents. Flavia, you could tell, is so uncomfortable, and he's like, I've had such a great time with you. Like, let's share a bed tonight. And she's like, we'll go with the flow. And he's like, we're sharing a bed.
He's like, yes, score. It's like he just does not understand. You have to talk very simply and very plainly to Jordan. Like, no, we will not be sharing a bed. I do not like you. Like you're right. It was so awkward and so weird. You could tell they had nothing to talk about, and Jordan brings up his little win thing, and it's and then to bring up that you live with your family, with your mom. That's probably about as bad as the first date can go.
Yeah, and like again, he's like pretty young in his 20s. Like I think it's pretty normal for people in their 20s to be living at home with their parents, but just the way he said it was strange.
Yes, almost as he was like proud that he has not, done any more of his life to move out.
He like thinks that the conversation flowed and there was no conversation. That's all you need to know about Jordan. Louis and Catherine go on a date and they're just like flirting. They're clearly sexually attracted to each other. She's actively trying to get him to break the rules. And he's like, oh, if this was a real date, I would love to kiss you. But like, I'm trying to be a good example. She's like, no, I need a kiss to know if there is a connection. So then they kiss on the date.
Do you think Catherine is trying to be like, now tell me if this was the vibe that Francesca was giving on her season of like, I'm the bad girl. I don't care about the rules. I want to be sexually active. Like it seems like Catherine is here to make a name for herself by breaking rules a lot.
Yeah. I do think that's why she's there. And I think that it is the right call because guess who's getting screen time? Catherine. But for Francesca it was a little bit different because her and Harry just were both like immediately attracted to each other, just like couldn't keep their hands off each other kind of vibes. Like she didn't have to metagame it. She just was that girl.
Yeah, everyone's trying to be a Francesca.
And I do understand why. That was also Francesca's whole thing was that she came in and was like, I have 1 million followers on social media. And then you like, and this was before she was ever on any show. And then you'd like look at the engagement on her post and be like, and you paid for them because nobody is liking or commenting on these. It was pretty clear, but she has real followers now, obviously.
I think an interesting twist to Too Hot to Handle format would be a like mole-ish kind of twist where you have people that are getting like individually paid to have people break the rules. Because I think someone like a Catherine would come in and rake up the money by doing this, by like trying to entice people. We get something to that effect later, but it never really pays off or doesn't really even make sense. But I think having people like incentivized to break the rules to have a personal gain would be an interesting twist for this show.
Yes, I agree because they do tend to bring in they call the bombshells grenades on Too Hot to Handle. I'm not sure if you noticed that, which like obviously anyone who's watched reality TV thinks of a grenade in a very different way than
the Jersey Shore sense.
But oftentimes the grenades will come in and be like, I'm ready. I'm going to make people break the rules. I'm going to spend the money. I don't care. But yeah, if they gave them like a financial stake to do it, I think that would be much more compelling television. But of course, it's completely counter to the message of the show, which is that sex is bad and we should not do it.
Bad sex fiends, bad.
Right. So Flavia ends up sharing a bed with Joao because Joao does not believe Jordan when he said that the conversation flowed with Flavia. And he's like, I'm going to pull her and I'm going to get to sleep in a bed with her. And this is where before bedtime, we find out that there's been a breach of the rules. And Louis and Catherine are not saying anything. And then Lana's like, if you don't tell right now that it was you, 10,000 more from the prize.
That was awesome. I love that moment where it's like, yeah, we're just not going to say anything. I don't know if listen, I haven't watched the show. Does Lana usually snitch on people when they break rules? Like, is this normal or what is it?
She didn't initially, but then as the seasons have progressed, it very much is a thing where everyone gets exposed for exactly what they've done.
Yeah, because you got to, right? I feel like you have to have like these people kind of turn on each other in a way to know who's draining the prize pot. So I love how the threats with Lana was like, all right, if you don't fess up, I'm taking another 10 grand. So go ahead and fess up. And it's like, all right, fine, we did it. Yeah. Because I mean, they were heavy lying about it when they got back to the villa after their date because they did share a kiss on their date. And it's like, no, nothing happened.
No,
and
nothing
just
happened.
To come to this like, ceremony and have to admit that you actually lied and you did drain it was very interesting to see.
And I think it was Damari goes, "Oh, you're supposed to be our role model. That's not cool, dude." And I was like, "What's happening here?"
Like, Damari, that wasn't actually real. Like, I don't know. Like, the producers made them say that. Like, you're taking this a little too seriously, my guy.
It made me laugh so hard. They also find out that a further $15,000 has been deducted. And everyone's like, "Louis and Catherine, what else did you do? Tell us now." And they're like, "No, no, no, we didn't do anything else." And they're like, "Well, that's what you said last time." Everyone's really mad. And this is where we find out that Bree and Charlie are coming back, and it was a breach from them. And this is where Damari has a confessional where he's like, "Wow, if Bree broke the rules with Charlie, it's over. Like, you spent one afternoon together. Grow up."
Yeah, and you're just getting ready to, bathe Flavia in suntan lotion. So I don't think you should be throwing stones here, there, Damari.
Right, like, he has a glass house. He's got to stop. So when they get back, Bree tells everyone about the spying. And that they paid to see what was going on. And she tells Lucy that Charlie is so nice and he missed her so much and she should really give him another chance. And she apologizes to Damari for kissing Chris and asks him for a second chance. I don't think she needed to apologize to Damari.
No, I mean, she kissed Chris before she even really talked to Damari, so I don't think it really counts that much. So I mean, if anyone has any explaining and apologizing to do, it is oh my god, I blanked his name. Charlie. Yeah. By kissing Lucy and then going and kissing Kylisha. So yeah, that guy has some explaining to do.
I agree completely. Flavia also officially sleeps with Joao, and Jordan looks literally devastated.
He's very crestfallen.
He's never been rejected before.
Never ever been rejected. He just doesn't understand what went wrong, where the communication fell through. It's probably by the fact that when you literally asked her if she was going to spend the night with you in bed, she just was very non-committal.
Well, yeah, like, just a reminder to the Jordans of the world that consent is an enthusiastic yes, not the absence of a no.
Yeah, there you go. Very, very good point.
Night one, Louis showed Catherine his penis, which they call Big Ben. Like, he unironically calls his own penis Big Ben, which is so embarrassing. That's more embarrassing than going on Too Hot to Handle twice. Lucy makes Charlie work for it. He's like, thinks that they could just get back together, and she's like, "No." And he's like, "Where's my hug?" And she's like,
"Where my hug at? Where my hug at?" That was, and I mean, that's quite a game for Lucy to be playing, right? Because I feel like Charlie could be at any flip of a dime, could really just turn and go wherever. I feel like Lucy. Yeah. I don't know if Lucy really, really wants to be with Charlie, but if she's just like, "I want to make you work for it," I feel like Charlie's in the position to be like, "All right, fine. I don't want to work for it. Kylisha is right here, and no one else is paying any attention to her, so I'll just go where my easy money is."
Yeah, which I guess shows that maybe he does really like her.
Yeah.
Maybe it's real. We get our first workshop. Now, they do tend to have a workshop every batch, and a lot of the time it's like, write down the bad relationship habits you have and we all burn them together to like move on from them. But this one was like a tantric energy orgasm thing. Yeah, that happened.
I'm just not sure how this was supposed to be helpful at all.
No, it's so weird. They're just like, they're like moving their horny energy through their body and like moaning, and it's supposed to, like, I guess, take the edge off so that they don't need to physically have an orgasm. It does not work
at all. Everyone just comes back like, "Okay, I'm way more horny now than when we started that." So yeah, didn't really work out well. I think Lana might have some ulterior. Are we sure this wasn't a workshop from Bad Lana? Like,
yeah, it should have been. It should have been a workshop from Bad Lana.
I think it would have been funny if, like, at the end of this workshop, like, it gets revealed that it was actually a Bad Lana plan. And
I would have like, they pull off Lana's mask and it was Bad Lana all along. I also the like workshop facilitator does like an example energy orgasm for them, which I don't know that how this was supposed to help them successfully do anything like tantric, because she's just moaning. And Chris is like, "Wow, that looks so real." And to that, I'm like, sorry to everyone
Well, yeah.
Chris has ever slept with.
Yeah, I think Chris has mostly been with people that have faked it for him, and he's really just kind of fell for it every time. Poor Chris. Yeah.
poor those women.
Yes, poor those women mostly. I'm sorry, I said poor Chris. Poor those women that had to fake their orgasm just to get away from Chris.
Yeah. After this workshop, Joao and Flavia have a conversation where he's like really focused on her comfort, which works for her, and they kiss, and it's $6,000 down the drain.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all props to Joao, who came in and actually had a real conversation to get this kiss. So he kind of knows, and he pulls line like, well, I feel like if we just wasted money without a real connection, it would have been just a waste. But I feel like we have something real, and it's worth it to actually kiss, right? Like, I mean, bow down to that guy who he knows how to sell a product.
Well, and that's also like a big issue with Too Hot to Handle is they're like, oh, you can't even kiss. But I feel like if you really are vibing with someone and then you kiss them and it's bad, that could tell you that there's no more connection.
Right. We could save money later down the line because I know now he's not a good kisser and probably not a good other things either.
Yeah. What did you think of Charlie's saxophone solo to win Lucy back?
I was like, is he really a saxophone player? Because I feel like I probably could have come in and did around the same thing.
I certainly could not.
I probably just got grabbed a sax and pushed some buttons and made it sound the same because it wasn't great. I appreciated the gesture, and it was a really good like move on his part to make a romantic kind of overture to Lucy, and kind of I like the relationship between Charlie and Bree as well. They're just kind of friends, and he uses her to kind of pull off this heist, if you will. So I like that part of it for sure. It was romantic. It worked. It did what it was supposed to do. It worked in his favor.
Yes, he says he appreciates her. He's sorry. He feels bad that she's disappointed in him. And she thinks it's a genuine apology and that he is an actual good boy, and they kiss. So it worked.
It's just crazy to me how these people that are so focused on just having sex coming in here are already also just coupled up. It's really interesting.
100%. We do get one scene of Jordan struggling where he literally says he's never been rejected before, and he is really, really struggling with this, which is something we talk about a lot on these shows, but it's rare that it actually gets confirmed. But that's okay because Lana gathers them all for a reckoning because they have a lot of business to get through. And the first issue is Jordan quitting because nobody likes him, and he says, "Don't ever forget about me."
And then as soon as he left, everyone forgot who he was, and any conversation they ever had with him, because he's such a zero, he's such a nothing on this thing. But it's weird on a show like this to kind of just quit because on this show there's going to be more people to come and more chances to have connections. It just almost felt like he was just embarrassed that Joao took his woman, so he just kind of wanted to just dip out and leave.
And you know what? He's allowed to do that. And he chose to do that. So
how often, if at all, do they get rid of people? Do they eliminate people?
I feel like a lot of the times people will get eliminated because they are just breaking the rules for no reason and have no connection with anyone. Like there was season 1, there was a girl, Haley, who grabbed one of the other girls and they made out just to lose money for the prize pot because they were mad that nobody was interested in them. And like, so people like that get sent home. Or like sometimes if people like, sometimes they'll like send a couple home if they're not committed to the process, but it really just depends. Every season is a little bit different.
I mean, I was wondering if like at any point if inactivity gets you kind of just sent home, like, all right.
Yeah, it can. If they're like, oh, you have no romantic connections, you're not trying to make romantic connections, like, get lost.
Yeah, because you got like Gianna, Chris, and Kylisha who are just kind of here to hang out, to have fun. I mean, it's not much their fault. Gianna did try and just didn't go anywhere. But I mean, I just had to wonder at some point, they're just like, okay, like you're kind of just taking up space on this show, so bye.
Yeah, they'll tend to keep them to be like jury votes, but there's a good chance that Gianna is essentially an NPC for the rest of the season, and like Kylisha and all of that. Like we might just have our main characters at this point.
Yeah, I mean, poor Kylisha. I feel like she really wants it, but no one is really giving her the time of day.
It's her good boob years. She wants to take advantage.
Yeah.
Feel for that girl. There were also multiple breaches of the rules. We already talked about Charlie and Lucy and Flavia and Joao. Louis and Catherine lost $18,000 because of all their oxygen breaks during their makeout. So they should have at least done oral at that point.
I feel like they should have had more of a penalty for their makeout because they were on the verge. There was a lot of grinding going on. I was like, okay, I think something happened there in someone's pants. I think they should have gotten
Oh my God.
some sort of other fine for that because that was hot and heavy right there.
The shame is the other fine.
Yeah.
Damari's upset because the people that are supposed to be their good examples have lost the most money out of anyone. Okay.
He's got a point. He's got a point. Like, you guys were supposed to be helping us out, and you are the biggest offenders.
Yeah, I don't know. Lana's like, you were invited back to show that it's possible to connect emotionally first, and you both failed, so I must take action. Gosh. She says that she does believe that Flavia and Joel's connection is real, so she's going to continue monitoring. But Louis has been breaking the most rules, though he has tried to resist Catherine. So they will get the ultimate test. A night in the private suite for Louis and Catherine.
Makes zero sense.
They always do this with like the couple that's losing the most money at about the midpoint of the season gets sent to the hideaway. Typically, they go to the private suite and then all the people left over will get the opportunity to bet. Do you want to bet like $30,000 that they will not break the rules? And if they don't break the rules, they get that money back. But if they do break the rules, like you lose double that amount of money. And that has worked out a few times actually where they get the money back, which is always shocking. But this year they didn't do that. The twist was that Bad Lana is in the private suite and there is a happy hour from midnight to 1 a.m. where all rule breaks are half priced.
That's interesting with the whole betting thing of past seasons. That would have been interesting to see on this season. It's just like, you guys broke the most rules, so we're going to give you even more temptation in private for you to actually do more bad stuff. I mean, Lana, again, I don't want to question you, but not a great idea, I think. But yeah, as soon as they got in there, Catherine is like pulling out all the stops to try and get Louis to break even more rules. I feel like even if it wasn't half price, she would have been doing the same things. I mean, they got buck ass naked, getting in bathtubs. They were in the tub.
Yep.
She is presenting to him like.
But listen,
all the goods on display.
Everything to get him to break the rules. I don't know why this is still her motivation. You know, maybe we're gonna get to the end of the season and we're gonna find out that you're right. There was a mole, and that Catherine was gonna get money for every rule break. I don't know, but she really tried it. She did everything she can, and then I thought they were gonna break the rules for sure because Louis is like, wow, sex is like human nature. Like it's like if I told you can't breathe at a certain point, you die. So.
I love how Louis just constantly trying to justify breaking rules in his head. I thought that was a funny little twist on things. I definitely thought there was going to be at least one rule break in here. Yeah. I felt like I saw at least one rule break that should have been, but maybe I didn't. I guess it's careful editing because we do come back, and once they come back, they reveal that there were no rules broken, just very, very, very close to rules being broken. I felt like I saw enough that there should have been just a miscellaneous $5,000.
There should have been a penalty. Yeah, like maybe you didn't technically break the rules, but it was far enough.
All the little infractions added up should have been something.
I agree. I was interested because immediately Louis was like, oh, I don't know. We might have gone too far. I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. I'm like, okay, well, what did you do that you don't know if you broke the rules or not? But this is where Lana says if they broke any rules, Louis will immediately be sent home because he obviously doesn't want to be a good example, but they didn't break any rules, so he gets to stay. Mm-hmm. Tough times for my guy Louis.
Yeah, Louis really going through it. I feel like with a partner like Catherine, constantly trying to make you break your vow of chastity, you're really going to have to go through it to resist breaking rules here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't get like a physical like chastity belt to protect himself from her. They could have put one of those in the hideaway. Yeah. We do get 2 new arrivals in episode 4 of this batch. And Valentina, they each have chosen someone to go on a date with. Valentina picked Damari, and Christian picked Catherine. And so because Louis is with Catherine and Bree is with Damari, they get sent to banishment while Damari and Catherine are on their dates, which is so messed up.
Well, and it's so messed up considering how this all plays out, because the like kind of conceit here is like, we don't want your partners around to distract you from your new arrivals. But then they send the people out on private dates with the new arrivals, and then once they get back, their partners come back at the same time anyway. So there was really no point to this. It was just to torture their partners.
They are obsessed with sending Bree to jail, and it's not okay. Like, they need to stop.
Not cool.
Christian is from Chicago, and he truly, to me, looks like Vincent Adult Man from BoJack Horseman.
just a
three children in a trench coat, you know?
Yeah, just a blank, basically, profile. Like, this is your starting character when on any video game that you build up. It's just like very vanilla type of looking person here.
Yeah, 100%. Valentina is there as like the curvy option. She like still like a thin woman, but she just has more boobs and ass than the other people in the villa.
Yeah, when Valentina came out, I was like, "What? Like, this is."
You had Damari's reaction.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Because I mean, listen, all the people so far, fine, but Valentina is like very different than the other women in construction. Let's say that. So.
Listen, and the reaction was the same in my household from myself and my boyfriend. We were all like, "Wow!"
Like, okay, all right, we're playing with fire here. But yes, I would have had the same reaction as Damari 100%, because and for Damari's part, he's just like, as soon as Bree left the first time, he was just like, yeah, Bree's cool, but I'm moving on. And then as soon as Bree leaves the second time, he's just like, I'm open to whatever. Like,
no object permanence for Damari.
Yeah, it's like Damari. Like, I throughout the whole like time, I was like, Damari, he's like a cool dude. He's like a nice guy. But now he's just like every other like F boy over there. He's pathetic.
He got cast on the show for a reason. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. He's just like, he's so ready to move in any other direction. I thought it was, because I mean, and there's a point here in the thing where Bree doesn't want to break any of the rules. She got scared from her first management. She doesn't want to break any more rules, and Damari seems like he is down to break rules, and she's like, no, can't do it. So I think that's really part of the impetus for Damari to be like, all right, we're ready to move on to do something else.
Yeah, he wants physical gratification, and Valentina also wants that. She is not trying to get to know him. She is just talking about how hot she is, how hot he is. Like,
she's just there to flirt and eat strawberries. That's all she's there for. Like, they promised her a carton full of strawberries, so she's going to take advantage, because she could not stop eating those chocolate-covered strawberries.
He like feeds him a strawberry and goes, "Oh wow, your lips touch my hand. You have nice lips." And
it literally could have been,
you have nice lips, and then they kiss.
Yeah, it could have been anybody sitting in front of her, and she would have been doing the same thing. Now, they do have this game mechanic of a temptation timer.
Yes.
Which they had like an hour to seduce these people, but I got no sense that there was any advantage they're going to gain by doing this. Yeah,
they wouldn't get anything for it. But the point was so that at 60 minutes, Lana could come in and say, do you want to keep being on your date, or do you want to keep your current partner in jail for longer? So they could both be like, yeah, keep him in jail. It's fine.
Yeah, and I thought at least that would decide whether or not these people came into the house. Like, if you could get them to break a rule within 60 minutes, you get to come in the house. But if not, you can't come in. But it's just like hey, get them to break the rules for no reason at all. But yeah, I did enjoy the whole.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I did enjoy the whole the Sophie's choice at the end. Like, you can end this date now and have your people out of banishment, or you can get your people out of banishment now. I did enjoy that part of it.
Yes. Sometimes they'll do where on dates, if the new bombshell kisses someone, it won't cost any money, but then they don't tell the like people that have already been in the villa that it will be free. So they have to like convince them to kiss without that knowledge, which can be fun. But I don't think that that's what they did this time. So
yeah, that would have been interesting to have some kind of wrinkle there, because it really didn't seem like there's any advantage, disadvantage of breaking the rules here. But I loved Brie this whole time of like when she
She's
finds
so
out that she
mad.
has to spend more time, and then they go to Damari like, okay, Damari, time for a decision. He's like, can I have more time? And then Lana's just like, yeah, sure, you could have more time. And then it immediately goes to Brie like, hey, he said he
Yeah.
wanted more time
Well, yeah.
to figure this out.
Lana goes back and goes, okay, Louis, you're free to go. You've been freed.
Mhm.
And Brie's like, oh, perfect. And she's like, no, not you yet, Brie. Damari hasn't decided if you can come home yet.
That's almost as bad as him deciding to
It's
leave her
worse.
there. Yeah.
I think it's worse. Like, at least if he just decided to leave her there, she can be like, okay, perfect. I'm fully done with this. No problem. But for him being like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I want her to be in jail. Maybe I want her to be free. I don't know. Like, that's worse to me.
Oh man, that was so heartbreaking for poor Brie.
Yeah. I felt so bad for her. Christian and Catherine have like a fine date. He asks her a lot of questions, which I noticed and thought was good. And she also noticed and thought was good, but she's not sexually attracted to him, possibly because he's again so young.
Yeah. He was kind of giving Jordan vibes of like, well, he was better than Jordan because at least he had something to talk about, something to say, whereas Jordan was just talking about the win. But you could tell he was really trying to schmooze and put it on so that he seemed like he was actually interested in who she was as a person.
Yes, that he at least pretended, which is, I think, good. But she's not sexually attracted to him. She wants to go back to Louis, but maybe she can have a deeper connection with Louis. So you know what? The date worked.
Yeah, for sure. It worked. It worked in a way, but I think at the by the end of it, Catherine's like, I'll stick with Louis. Louis cool.
Yeah, but she wants to see if she can have like a deeper connection with him, which is at least something. Everyone comes back in holding hands with their dates, which was interesting to look at.
It felt very like a producer is like, before y'all walk in, you have to hold hands. Like we're requiring you to hold hands as you walk in.
And you could also tell too, like Brie was mad about Jamari holding hands with Valentina, but he was doing like the no finger interlock version of holding hands, which is like, you could tell production told them to do it, and then he did not interlock the fingers.
Yeah, because I mean, Louis calls out. He's like, "Yeah, that wasn't a friendly handhold. They were like, they were like you said, interlocking fingers. Like that was real."
I think it's a situation. Production's like, you have to hold hands, and then whichever like the man of the situation probably takes the lead on how they're holding hands. So of course, Christian is going to interlock the fingers to try and like have more closeness, whereas Damari is like,
see, nothing here,
nothing going on here. Louis goes and pulls Catherine to chat before she can pull him, and she's like, yeah, I had fun with Christian, and like he said, I'm his type, and he has all the attributes I like, but I'm not attracted to him. Nothing happened. And Louis is so relieved, and they're just happy.
Yeah, it seemed like, I don't know if Louis and Catherine are like one like couple to really root for. I feel like I kind of, for some reason, I feel like I'm rooting for them the most, and Charlie and Lucy are like in second, I guess. They seem like a pretty good match in terms of both attraction and interest, I guess. But with Catherine trying to break the rules all the time, I don't know how that's going to go.
If Lucy and Charlie want to win, they need to do some rule breaks so that they can have a redemption arc, because you do not win without a redemption arc. That you got to gamify it.
Makes sense.
Damari pulls Brie, and his plan is to tell her the truth about what happened, but he's so nervous. Brie is like, why didn't you talk to me first thing? He like can't look at her. She's like, look at me in your eyes when you're talking. Like, what's going on here? Like, can you look at me? And he's like, oh, I'm so scared. I don't know. And then the batch ends, so we don't know if he actually told her or not.
Yeah, he doesn't want to face any accountability for any of his actions. He literally walks in with Valentina and just kind of ignores Brie and just walks right by them. It's like, ooh, that's not a good look. Not a good look, sir. And I could definitely see a case where like Damari and Brie break up, and then Valentina just goes to someone else and doesn't even want Damari, and then Damari just kind of shit out of luck, which I think would be a really good karma moment for him. So I can definitely see that being a thing that's going to happen.
I would love it because it's like, listen, he kissed Valentina. He goes, "Oh, I want to do that again," and she's just like, "Oh yes, I'm so hot, haha, I win."
Mhm.
And then now he's too scared to tell Brie the truth. When after day one, he was like, "Wow, such a turn off that Brie kissed Chris. Like
Right.
it might be over for us." So he's just
Very hypocritical.
very hypocritical.
And it's like Brie, and I think he's right to be scared of Brie at this moment because you can tell that Brie is just not one for play. Do not play with her feelings. Do not play with her
No.
emotions. Do not leave her in banishment more than she needs to be. So
Yes.
I'm very can't wait for this confrontation to finish out.
Yes, I'm so excited to see it. I'm upset that they made it a cliffhanger, but that is what Netflix reality does
Yeah.
100% of the time. We did get a preview of like this season to come, but I don't think it really told us anything. It was just a lot of like people gasping and being surprised and
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it seems like there is going to be some juggling of couples if what I saw from, but I mean, who really knows what to take
Yeah.
seriously in those previews anyway? But I'm curious to see how things going to get jumbled up and what's going to. Do you think we're going to have any more alumni come in, or was Louis and Flavia probably it?
Well, they've never done it before that they've brought in alumni. So I mean, I guess it's not impossible. And as shown on Love Island this season, it can be better if the like late season bombshells are people we already know. So
Mm,
it would be nice if they brought in more, but I think we probably will not be seeing any more alumni this season. That'll be my official prediction.
okay. Any other predictions? Like who's going to be the ultimate winner? Like what do you think is going to happen coming up?
I think Louis is gonna win the season.
Okay.
I think Louis is gonna win. Everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, he was so strong. He resisted Catherine so much, and he's grown, and then he will win." That's my official prediction after batch one, but we'll see. Do you
Oh,
have
no,
any predictions for what might happen? Are you going to watch any of batch two of this show?
I think they've done enough to hook me
Okay.
into this season to make me interested in the outcome, interested to see what's going to happen. I definitely want to see this, like I said, Damari and Bree continuation because I am team Bree all the way, and
Yes.
I want to see her really just bury him and as she should. So I'm very interested in that. Will I go all the way through the end of the season? Yet to be seen. Yet to be seen.
And that's fine because honestly, the first two batches are always the best, and by the end, it kind of gets a little schmoopy. So
Yeah. Okay.
batch two is probably going to be the strongest batch, would be my prediction. So I think you should try that, but you don't have to finish it. We will fill everyone in here on the podcast. Um, I will be covering batch two next weekend with Haley Strong, who always comes
Okay.
on to cover Too Hot to Handle with me. And then batch three, Tori from Ready to Be Petty will come on to break it all down.
Nice.
So
Nice.
we've got a crew here. We're covering it all. But Jason, thank you so much for joining me for batch one. You are literally a Too Hot to Handle martyr at this point.
Listen, no problem. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but by the end of it, I was happy that I came along on this journey with you.
I'm so glad to hear it. And for the listeners, if they don't know where else they can find you, can you let them know?
Yeah, you can find me on the trash site of Twitter at JAYR1085. As far as podcasting goes, I recently did a breakdown of this first part of the Cobra Kai season finale over on the Screen and Page podcast with DM Philly and Marissa Garza. Also, with Marissa Garza, I do another podcast called The Good Pod, where we break down every episode of The Good Wife. So if that was your jam back in 2009, come join us on that journey. We're having a fun time doing all that. And other than that, that's where I'm at right now.
Amazing. And if people want to hear more from me, right here on the Hot Dummies on Islands feed, the Love Island USA finale is upon us. And Brian Scally and myself will be covering that with America from Big Brother 25. And you can listen to Mess Magnets, where myself and Sasha Joseph break down pop culture, celeb gossip, trending topics, all of that good stuff. I was also on the first Saturday morning update for the Big Brother 26 live feeds. And you can follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What. If you liked this podcast, it's the start of a new season of Hot Dummies. If you leave us a 5-star rating and review, it really is helpful for people to find the show. So I would deeply appreciate that. 5 stars only. We don't accept less. And I'll be back next week to talk about batch 2 of Too Hot to Handle season 6. Thank you so much. Bye.